Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening and welcome to the weekly meetings of Karachi Toastmasters Club. This is meeting number 977. Few ground rules to follow. Those who are present in the room are requested to put your mobile phones on silent mode. Those who have joined us through Zoom, you all are requested to please turn your videos on and turn off your mic unless you are asked to do so. 3 topics we try not to discuss. We encourage the members not to discuss. That is politics, religion, and gender discrimination. With that, let's welcome the president of Karachi Toastmasters Club, currently serving the district director, and he is full-time distinguished Toastmaster. Please welcome. Put your hands together. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Talmad Hamid.
Thank you so much. Let me put on the presidential robe. I've been reminded that without it, one is not a president. Anyhow. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here. And a little bit of a correction. We do like to talk about gender discrimination here. What we don't like to talk about is sex. So, yeah, a little bit of a difference there. Before we move on, let me welcome you to this 977th meeting.
You mentioned in the poster.
Yeah, 977th meeting of Karachi Toastmasters Club. Now, this club was founded in September of 2000. That means that it is in its 22nd year. And we are very close. We are just 23 meetings away from completing our 1000 meetings. What is Toastmasters? Toastmasters is a worldwide organization headquartered in Colorado, USA. It runs a standardized program across the world. It is a curriculum called Pathways, but it's not just limited to pathways. It's a whole set of rules, regulations, protocols, and all the clubs in the world follow that protocol. In Pakistan, we have 48 clubs, and we started from 21 clubs in July 2019, when we were given the designation of a full-fledged district in Toastmasters. So we are one of the newest districts in the world. We are district number 122. Only one district is founded after us, which is district 123. Now, what is Toastmasters about? Toastmasters is about improving your communication skills. I won't mention leadership skills because first, you need communication skills to be a good leader. So, communication skills, leadership skills, it's a volunteer organization, and the biggest capacity that we develop in Toastmasters is not oration, not good language, not leadership, but a capacity to give. And that's the beauty of Toastmasters. We take feedback from others and we give feedback from others. It's a beautiful relationship. Once in this room, there are people from all walks of life, of all ages, of all experience levels, of all capacities. And we do not discriminate between any of them. Everybody is the same under this roof. So congratulations on joining this meeting. Before proceeding, we have a few guests today and a few new members. We would love them to come on the stage and introduce themselves. Madam Meros, please come and introduce yourself. Please keep it brief. Try to wrap it up within 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Meros Aziz. I have been a member of Toastmaster Islamabad Club for the past 4 years. I just shifted to Karachi, so I thought, why not visit Karachi Toastmaster Club? So here I am, and I am really good. It's really good to see you.
Thank you so much. So it's good to know that you are also someone who belongs to Islamabad Toastmasters Club, because guess what? We have the president of Islamabad Toastmasters Club as our member, and we have a few people who migrated from Islamabad to Karachi and they became our members. So glad to have you. It's an honor, and I hope that you find it worthwhile. We have Toastmaster of the Summer. He's our newest member.
Thank you, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Abdul Samad Abbasi. My brief introduction is I am working as a senior key accounts manager in Novartis Pharmaceutical. I used to attend Toastmaster clubs on the platform of Novartis. So now I decided to attend the local Toastmaster clubs like Karachi Toastmasters Club. So thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you so much.
Let's not call Toastmaster villain because you're going to deliver his icebreakers.
Right. Of course. So yeah, Icebreaker is as good an introduction as any. Online, we have our newest member, Toastmaster Sarvat. Toastmaster Sarvat, would you like to introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sarva. I'm currently residing in Saudi Arabia, and I'm not any I'm enrolled in a professional culinary arts academy, and I'm doing currently now the diploma for 6 months. So my my intention is towards becoming a chef. So this is my introduction. I think you like it.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sarvat. And now, before we proceed, let me first tell everyone something interesting. That in this very meeting, we have people from Karachi, from Madagascar, from Texas, USA, from Iran,
From UK as well.
and from UK as well. Not in this meeting though, but yes, we have a member from UK. So this is when you walk into Karachi Toastmasters Club, you expect to find Karachi Toastmasters Club, but it is way beyond that. We are, alhamdulillah, number 2 in the world in terms of education awards. And if Toastmaster Imran keeps making agendas, it won't take us long to get to number 1. Anyhow, just briefly going over what happened in the last meeting. Now, with KTC, last meeting itself is a very fluid definition because we have quite a lot of meetings. But our last regular meeting was 23rd March, which was a celebratory meeting. There were 8 speakers in that meeting. And the winners of Critics' Choice Award for Best Evaluator were 3rd place Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir, 2nd place Toastmaster Mariam Arif, and 1st place Toastmaster Fahim Razak. Critics' Choice Prepared Speaker Award, 3rd place Toastmaster Saad Amin, 2nd Toastmaster Fahim, and 1st DTM Sarfraz Azir. The Popular Awards, Best Speaker DTM Sarfraz, Best Table Topics and Best Evaluator Gavelier Amul. Oh my God, I am away for one meeting and a Gavelier beats all these stalwarts. All right, good work, everyone. Actually, Gavelier Amul is like a Gavel Club is a club for children. So people under 18 join the Gavel Club. And so she is a child and she is the president of a president.
First.
Yeah, sure. So she's the president of the Karachi Gavel Club, and she's also the daughter of Toastmaster Asghar, who's the president of Quetta Toastmasters Club till March 31. Best Facilitator goes to Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir, and Best Big Four went to Toastmaster Mariam Arif. So with that, I hand over the charge to our Toastmaster of the day, which luckily happens to be myself. So we save time on the introduction. Our theme today is spring, winter, springs, summer, falls. Now, I tried to make it a sentence. Summer, falls, winter, springs. Why is that? 4 seasons, but usually in Karachi, we don't have 4 seasons, right? Summer segues into something resembling autumn, but it's not actually autumn. It's just more and more stuffy weather. And then, yes, we do have a little bit of winter, but only for Karachiites, because people from other cities laugh at us when we say that it's cold out here. So we just say that the weather is pleasant. So whenever a Karachiite says to you that the weather is pleasant, it means that it's not sweltering hot, we are not sweating, we are not having difficulty breathing. So yes, sometimes we see 4 seasons in one day. And that is something unique to Karachi. So like there will be a little bit of coldish weather in the morning as soon as the sun comes up, sweltering heat, and then maybe clouds gather and a little bit of rain. And the evening, either it can go either way. It can become very pleasant and breezy, or if the clouds have come from the north instead of the west, then the opposite happens, even more heat. Karachi has another property, and that is that it has only one feasible direction in which to build houses. What is that? West. So if your house is not west open, that means you are, there's another word for it, but I won't use it here. Instead, I would say you are doomed. Why? Because your house will be colder in winters, hotter in summers, and the breeze will appear before you, but it will never touch you. You will see the leaves rustling. You will see the birds flying in the breeze, but it will never touch you. Because when your house is facing west, the wind blows in from the west, and everything is fine. Tragically, not all houses can be built in the westerly direction. They have to be built in all directions. So that's how, even within the same city and even within the same weather, within the same time, it is possible for 4 different Karachiites to experience 4 different complete weathers. Our meeting is about ups and downs. Nothing remains constant. Sometimes a day is so long that it seems like a year. It seems like never to end. And sometimes, especially when you're having fun, the day flies. It is so strange that in our culture, rain and winter is a sign of good weather. Stories and books and poetry is written about rainy weather and cold weather and cold breeze, whereas in the West, it's entirely the opposite. The rain is sign of depression, and cold weather is also something they don't really like. And you know the reason why? Because they actually have rains and they actually have cold weather. Whereas we actually have rain, we actually have hot weather, and we actually have dry spells. So it is in human nature to yearn for something that they don't have. So with that, I think we will move on now to a 10-minute break. Am I right? So it is Maghrib time here. We will reconvene in 10 minutes sharp. It's 6:54 in my clock. So we will reconvene at 7:05. And please have a beverage of your choice. We know we will have some fantastic tea here at Beach Luxury Hotel. So see you after 10 minutes. We are resuming the meeting and we are changing up the order of the meeting so that we'll have the table topics first. Our first role player is our grammarian and word master, Toastmaster Muzammil. So Toastmaster Muzammil, will you come on the stage and explain your role, please?
Good evening, everyone. My role is grammarian. Actually, the role of grammarian is to introduce new words to the members and comment on the language that is used in this meeting by the speakers. So should I introduce the word?
Yes.
The greater impact of our communication depends on how rightly we choose our words. So, okay, let me introduce the word of the day. That is the horizon. Should I write it here?
Yeah.
Yes.
But first introduce it, and then after you're done, you can write it.
Okay. Okay. So the horizon is noun basically, and there are 2 meanings of the horizon. The first meaning is that it is basically a line where we feel that the sky and the ocean or the earth are meeting or are touching to each other. So that is the first meaning, and the second meaning is that it is the limit of someone's knowledge, someone's ideas. So these are the 2 meanings. Let me write it here.
So while the word of the day is being written, everyone please note the word of the day is horizon. We move on to our next role player, who is our counter, Toastmaster Latif. So Toastmaster Latif, there you are.
Good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. My role as an R counter will be to note down those crunch words which a speaker use and unintentionally he does not even realize that he is using a longer pause or a filler word, the word such as like ums, or some repeated words. I will give my report at the time when the evaluator calls me. I hope to have a good meeting and enjoy everyone. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
So anyhow, let's see what he responds. Our next role player is word counter, who is DTM Saad Shoaib. Saad is coming, right?
Yes.
So the role of the vote counter is that at different points in the meeting, the audience will be asked to vote. The vote will be for the best prepared speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator, best facilitator, and best Big Four role player. The voting will be electronic. It will be floated through a Google poll, and it will be on the club's WhatsApp group. But for those who don't have access to the club's WhatsApp group because they're not members, first of all, why are you not members yet? And secondly, you can convey your vote manually to the vote counter, who will be right here. Vote counter cannot vote themselves. They only vote when there's a tie between two different speakers. Next, we have our listener, Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza, one of our new members. Over to you, Toastmaster Mufaddal.
Hello, everyone. My job for today will be as a listener. So I will be noting down the very good phrases or sentences. And later on, I will be asking you people that who spoke those sentences or phrases. So it will be like a listening test for all of you. So make sure that you listen it carefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next, we have, we have our joke master. And our joke master, as always, is Toastmaster Hiba. So, Toastmaster Hiba, over to you.
Okay, before I begin, am I visible and audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, after a crime, a detective noted that he thought it was foul play. The other detective said, "You mean he was playing with birds?" The second joke, what did the bald man exclaim when he received a comb for a present? What did the bald man say when he received a comb for a present? Thanks, I'll never part with it. Over to you, to the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now, as you all heard, there has been once again a little change. Our table topics master, table topics evaluator will be joining online in a few minutes. Meanwhile, I will ask our table topics master, Toastmaster Mariam, to take over and introduce the table topics. Over to you, Toastmaster Mariam. Yeah. You're not audible. You're muted.
Thank you. Hi, thank you so much. I'm on my way, so you might hear some noises, so just ignore them and listen to me. Today, I am your table topic master. Before starting, I just want to give you few points or tips that how you can give your best shot in table topics. Firstly, why do we fear table topic or we don't? What is hard in it? I think this is the most interesting session is because it's impromptu. If someone is asking you something, you have to give your opinion. And opinions are always right. No one can judge you on that. Secondly, it's a step forward towards your prepared speeches. Why don't you think it like this? That when we give prepared speeches, it's 5 to 7 minutes. We have an introduction, body, and conclusion. Same goes with table topic. We have an introduction, body, and conclusion. In table topic, as we don't know the topic that comes in front of us, just as a surprise, think about it. Take few seconds before you start. If you do not understand the question, repeat in your mind. Repeat. Start with the question. You can do that. In that way, you're giving your mind some time so he can collect some idea. And that helps you in giving this speech. During this speech, remember, your mind works. If you try to add in body just few of your personal experiences that connects the audience, that's the best way. Take full 3 minutes, as these are yours. You can learn, you can make mistakes, you can fight your fears in those, and you can understand where you stand. That's important. So rather than hiding yourself from table topics, be the one who stand and say, I want to participate. Convert yourself from just saying, don't call me, why me, to why not, try me. So as per the theme, and I would like to know, do we have some guests over there? Yeah. Toastmaster Imran and Toastmaster Tala. Do we have some guests? Do we have some guests over there?
Toastmaster Mariam, may I request to have a Toastmaster member first, so that the guest can have some experience.
Okay, so as I'm the host, I cannot be the participant. So I would like to call Toastmaster Tala. No, not Toastmaster Tala. Let's call Toastmaster Latif.
That was not my intention. My intention was to have some chocolates.
Let's start from the best. Why not? Okay. As we are celebrating weathers and seasons, is there any memory related to winters or anything that reminds you happens in winters? Because it's cold, it's cozy, it's quiet. There are emotions attached to it. Is there anything you would like to share with us?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you, Table Topic Master. My warm memories in winter is all about having ice creams and Coca-Cola, chilled and as cold as possible. Method of enjoying winter. That is the only method where we enjoy our weather when it is cold, because living in Karachi, it's never an extreme cold. And you all realize then how to have fun if you want winter. So every winter we have, like in family friends, we have two things very common. We have the peanuts, the mungfali, whatever we call it, if I reminded you very well, and the ice creams. Rest all is history as of now, because we don't have that much friends now. We have grown up. I still ask my kid to enjoy the time what they have. They have their own way of dealing it. That's the only thing which I always request them, to enjoy the moment, to enjoy the weather, be it whatever it is, be the moment and enjoy the fullest. Thank you. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much. That's so true. Chilled, cold, and all, and some warm memories in it. That's for sure. Why not? Thank you so much for sharing your love for food again with some chilled and cool ice creams and Coke. Why not? So now, may I please call upon TM Mehrose? Do we have Toastmaster Mehrose?
Yeah, she's coming.
Okay.
Yes, you can. She's waiting for your topic.
Okay, hi. I cannot see that one. Hi, how are you?
Thank you. How are you?
Okay, so for you, what food you enjoy the most during summer?
Okay. Thank you, table topic master. Hello, assalamu alaikum, my fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Well, the topic given to me is what food do I enjoy the most in summer? Well, I am a big fan of pasta. I can eat it in summer, winters, autumn, spring, day, night, evening, anytime. And recently, I'm obsessed with those Korean ramen noodles. They're spicy, but I love spicy food, so I'm in love with noodles. And I think pasta can be in any form for me. It can be in white sauce, it can be in red sauce, it can be a penne pasta, it can be an Alfredo pasta. So basically, I am a pasta lover. Other than that, if you think about other foods, what do I like the most to have in summers? I love eating golgappe. I love the khatta meeta water with it. I don't really like the khatta water that much because I'm not a fan of it. It's a bit sour for me. I like the sweet one better. But when they're mixed, and I just came to Karachi, I have discovered a place called Mirchi. If you are here in Karachi, find Mirchi, eat their golgappas, eat their papri chaat, and you'll have the best time of your life. So I am into pasta and I'm into golgappe, and I am also into a lot of other food, which is a suspense because that's for my other topics as well. So thank you for calling me. Over to you, table topic.
Thank you for sharing such delicious foods that I can see Mr. Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid was stand up on through his chair by after hearing Golgappe and all those papri chaat to take the pictures of those watering faces, I'm sure. Yes. Oh, papri chaat, Golgappe, what you have reminded me now. And I can surely we can sense your love for pastas. Oh, yummy. I'm just craving of it all now. That's the wrong topic. So now, next is guest Mohammad Ali.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Are you online?
Yes, I am in person. Now, yes.
I'm good. Can you take off your mask? There's no, you're far away from it.
I believe we are so used to the mask that it's very hard to remove them now. So,
Take a deep breath.
I'm Mohammad Ali and I'm here. Whatever topic you have, I would like to speak on that.
Yes, please. So now for you, my topic is which season of the year you enjoyed the most?
Okay, so my topic for the day is which season of the year I like the most. And for someone like me, I think I should live in
Season
Canada.
of the year.
Season of the year, right? So I like winter, and for someone like me, I should be living in Canada. In Oslo, or some the most coldest place on earth, where winter is always around 12 months of the year. Because I love winter, and the reason why I love winter is because I live in Karachi. I brought up in Karachi, and it's always hot here. I mean, 8 months of the year it's hot. You have to turn on AC. Whatever your electricity bill goes to, you have to turn on your AC for 8 months. So that is why I love winter. And the thing that I love most about winter is that, but unfortunately, I'm living in Karachi. It's the cold air and the fresh breeze that touches you when you go on a bike ride. And I'm a rider. I like bikes more than cars. So it's really nice when you go on a smooth road. Unfortunately, we have very little smooth roads in Karachi, but somehow if you can find a road, it's so loving and very different feeling that you will never experience in summer or autumn or spring. So winter is my pick out of all seasons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, your love for winter, and for sure I can sense that. your love for bikes. So your icebreaker would be regarding that. I can imagine. That's really nice. And the best thing is the wind that gives us warm memories. Cold wind and a warm house. I always say that. Thank you so much for sharing your love for the seasons and sharing your experiences, your favorite food that made you happy. Why you love winter. Now I can sense that we have more winter fans over here. At least out of 3. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed that. All from me.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mariam. And I request our vote counter to circulate the poll for the best table topic speaker. But before that, I'll ask the timer. All the 3 speakers were qualified?
Yeah, all
right. All the 3 speakers were qualified. So please find the vote, find the poll. And if you're not on the WhatsApp group of the club, please write your preference on a piece of paper and pass it on to our vote counter to DTM Sarchway. Right. So now the season changes once again. We had spring with blooming flowers, exotic scents, and flying birds, and 1,000-colored butterflies. And suddenly, weirdly, instead of summer, winter has descended because we have our prepared speeches session. And our prepared speeches session is as long and as rich and as heavy as the winter season in Scandinavia. So, since most of us in Karachi and generally people in Pakistan do tend to like winters, I believe that this is the best possible season for us. So, the winter opens with a very, very renowned speaker of ours. She is one of those people who has inspired many people to join this club. And to this day, she keeps inspiring them. She's a medical student, a debater, a Scrabble champion, and God knows what else, because she's always doing something. She will be delivering her presentation Mastery Level 4 project, Managing a Difficult Audience. And her project will be evaluated by Toastmaster Kareem. So Toastmaster Kareem, please introduce the project of Toastmaster Mariam Aftab. Oh, sorry. Toastmaster Mariam Arif. Apologies. See, if you were more frequent in meetings, I wouldn't have made this list. Anyhow.
Yes. So today my target speaker, TM Mariam Arif, it's an honor. First, I would say that, I always loved her speeches, loved her preparation, and it's an inspiration always. So today, TM Mariam project 1 and managing the difficult audience. Her speech title is "If Opportunity Doesn't Knock, Build the Door." We will be having some surprise for her in her speech. There will be 4 people in the group who are already been assigned, who will disturb her, and we are looking that how she managed this disturbance. So TM Mariam Arif, all the best to you, and we are looking forward for your speech. The speech limit is 5 to 7 minutes in 10 to 12 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Basically 10 to 15 minutes, but the speech is 5 to 7. The disturbance will take the other time. Okay.
Okay.
So
I just had
The timer window is right alongside your window, if you can see. Toastmaster Imran. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Milton Berle once said, and I quote, he said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Now, fellow Toastmasters and guests, there are 3 key words in this speech. Opportunity, build, and to knock. I'll ask the first one from you. What does opportunity mean in your opinion? Anybody? Opportunity. No,
Chance
no
to
guess.
A chance.
Chance
What?
to do something. A chance to do something.
Yes, or more than a chance, it's basically when that chance really works out, and that's basically a favorable juncture of circumstances. Not meaning to touch or hit something, and to build means to construct. But the question which arises here is that what does Milton Berle mean when he uses this analogy? Or what do these words in this quote together mean? And do I have any answers again? What does this quote mean in your opinion? Anybody?
If we knew, would we be listening to you?
Yeah. I don't know what to say to that, but I will just go on and explain you what does this. It's very, very simple. And that is that if you do not have any opportunity at hand, all you need to do is to create one. And if you still couldn't really grasp the crux of this quote, I'll go on to give you an example. So for instance, you are an aspiring entrepreneur. You aspire to be the next Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Jack Ma. Now you cannot just sit around in the corner and wait for success. You cannot just assume that, okay, one fine day I'll wake up, run into an idea that will be welcomed by a bunch of mega investors. They will launch my mega business, and all of this will turn me into a successful business tycoon overnight. That won't ever happen. And do you know the reason why? Because this isn't how the law of nature works, that you leave things to chance and hope that one day that much awaited door of opportunities will open for you when you are lucky enough.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, first we had high tea after TTM Talha gave a speech on negotiations. Then after tea, we went to play. Yeah, some went for go-karts and I went for bowling. Yeah, we had a good time. Dinner was nice.
So
yeah.
Whoever
Were you
sharing
there?
their
There were
experience,
about
I
100
really
people.
very interesting, but I suggest that can you please do it after my speech, because I'm talking about opportunities and that will help you have an even better time later in your life. So moving on with my speech. So this isn't how things work, right? So this means that you are the architect of that door, and therefore you are the one who has to strive to work hard and to create those opportunities and also utilize them in the best possible manner. And here comes the important part that one of my favorite quote is by Bobby Isner, and that is success is where preparation meets opportunity. Therefore, in order to achieve success, what we really need to do in life is to prepare ourselves to search for the hidden opportunities in life instead of expecting the opportunities to come searching for us. Before I move on, do I have any questions so far? Any disruptions, any interruptions? None of them. Okay, so the next question that arises is that how do you create those opportunities in life? Really, it's really easy to say that create opportunities, but how do we do that? I will share with you 5 simple, easy steps of creating opportunities in your life. Step number 1 is to know yourself. Sounds trivial, right? Sounds unimportant, but it is really, really important that you know yourself, your strengths, your passions, your weaknesses, your interests. And this is why one of the first questions every interviewer asks is, okay, tell us about yourself. Tell us what are your strengths and weaknesses, because it's so important that you really know yourself. And once you really know yourself,
what have you actually accomplished? Like you're telling us, Toastmaster Mariam, you're telling us all this, but we'd like to hear what have you actually accomplished by acting on this advice. I hear you're a medical student. So do you really feel that you are entitled to give this grand life advice to us?
Yes, because
one more thing. I think DTM, sorry, TM Mariam. I think that, one also think that, look at the context from where we are coming from. The regions we are talking about, Asians, you are giving example of Elon Musk. I don't know, all my life, I never thought about this particular, we don't achieve in this kind of level of success. The opportunity doesn't knock. We have our own issues.
Okay, let me
I don't think so.
Interrupt right here and move on with what I'd like to say. So answering and keeping with the context of my speech, I definitely feel that I have followed these 5 steps and created a lot of opportunities. I wasn't born with a seat in a government medical college. I really followed those steps, created those opportunities, and how I'm still doing so, I'll share a personal example and tell you right away. So moving on, the first step is to know yourself. The second step is to develop self-confidence. Now, once you know who you are and what skill set you have, what you really need to do is to the power to offer those skills to the world. And that will only happen when you truly...
Okay, Toastmaster Mariam, I have one question to ask.
Please go ahead.
Okay, my question is that I made the door, but opportunity doesn't knock on that door. What should I do?
No, somebody else might have blocked it.
Okay, because maybe you didn't follow those 5 steps. You missed one of them, and the door wasn't really strong enough, and it broke off even before it was constructed. So you need to have a solid foundation to make sure opportunities really knock on that door.
So you mean
Give
like
us example of our context. Give us example of our context. If you are telling me that we are from the West, how? I don't know.
Before I go on, and I'll take some questions at the end of the speech as well. So to put things into perspective, but everyone needs to have some amount of patience in order to really wait for things to be put into perspective. Moving on, the second step is to develop self-confidence. So once you have the power, and that will only be developed when you are aware of the magnitude of your actions and the impact of your potential. Now, moving on towards the third step, and that is to look around. So once you know who you really are, and once you have developed that very important part, the self-confidence, now all you need to do is to look around, open your eyes and move around. And how do you do that? For that, it's very important to step outside of the comfort zone. And here, connecting this to the questions from the audience, they said, how does this link to us? How do we really do that? Whatever we are doing here, we are here at Toastmasters. This isn't a comfort zone for all of us. A lot of us literally have to step outside of our comfort zones to meet new people, to interact them. And this is exactly how you create opportunities for yourself. Travel, explore new cultures, and look for trends and ideas that match your skill sets and areas of interest. Because once you start doing that, this is how opportunities will be there everywhere for you. So I hope I've answered the questions and tried to put things in perspective. For instance, Toastmasters is a very good example of stepping outside of your comfort zone, interacting with people, networking with people, and creating opportunities for yourself. Moving on towards the fourth step, that is to be generous. Now, once you have those skill set, just don't try to be selfish. Just don't think of letting it benefit yourself. And neither should you have a one-track mindset that, okay, all I have to do in my life is to create an opportunity. And that is where I answered TM Imran's idea and question as well. So you shouldn't have just a selfish approach. Instead, you should take a selfless approach. You should use your time and talent for others as well. Give guidance to others, counsel others as per your skill sets. Instead of thinking what others can do for you, you think that what you can do for them. And this is a practice, this is an approach that we apply at Toastmasters as well. Because at Toastmasters, we're not just reaping the benefits, we're also giving back and contributing back to the society. And I can guarantee that once you shift to that mindset, opportunities will automatically start presenting themselves to you. So after following the 4 steps, you have done the 4 parts, you have the ability to know yourself, you have developed self-confidence, you have stepped outside of your comfort zone, you have looked around, and you have been generous as possible. Now the last step is to be decisive. So if you follow the above 4 steps, I can assure you that there will come a time when you'll be surrounded by a lot of opportunities. But now here comes the hard part. You need to learn to take advantage of those opportunities. You need to decide which opportunity is right for you and which isn't. So step into power with the assurity that you are making the right decision. Take upon those decisions, take those opportunities. And even if it doesn't turn out to be the perfect one, it's perfectly okay. Have this belief in yourself and this positivity that will ultimately.
How on earth is that okay if the decision turns out to be wrong? Like, I don't know what are you talking about? Like, it's not supposed to be okay. Otherwise, why would any decision be wrong? How do you make it okay?
Completely agree on it. And I think it's a completely very good point which DTM Tala said.
Yes,
I think that, this lecturing, this motivational things to us will not make a difference. Show us a good example. Give me a practical example of the world, not Elon Musk.
Bro,
not in the
this is
Western
not
world,
one-time
doing
try.
Asian
Sorry,
world.
this is not one-time try. You have to make the door again.
World as well. So I feel that his example is very relevant as many people do idealize him, and through giving examples of Toastmasters as well, I feel that I've put things into perspective. Summing up, I feel that this journey is a long stamina sapping journey, but what you really need is the commitment, passion, and dedication to turn those dreams into the ultimate reality and prove the world that you succeeded, not just because you were lucky or blessed with a lot of opportunities, but because you truly earned them.
Give me one example in Pakistan that who achieved this. Give me one example. I'm saying that give me in a context. Give me one example.
Okay. How much time do I have?
A few more minutes.
Two
more minutes.
Okay, 2 more minutes. So how about I give you all a personal example? So in my family, there was no doctor, right? And there wasn't anyone with a medical degree. But what I did was that instead of letting this let me down or demotivate myself, I stepped outside of the comfort zone. It was very easy for me to get into a degree or get into a university that my family, that people in my family have already done. But I said, no, what I'll do is step outside of my comfort zone, look around for opportunities. I first tried to know myself, what I really want to do, what is my passion, what is my interest? And that told me that, okay, my interest is in medical sciences. Once that happened, I tried to develop the self-confidence. I said, in order to do that, I need to step outside and I need to go into the world. And that is what I did. And after that, I stepped outside of my comfort zone. Once I started doing that, I automatically found people who were in a similar situation. And together we formed a group of students and we tried our level best. We worked hard, and here I am right in front of you. Such is the example of Toastmasters. We're all here from different walks of life. But what we really do here is explore our strengths and passions, meet with new people. And there are a lot of people who, through networking and through engaging with others, have surrounded themselves with a sea of opportunities. And at the end of the day, it depends on you, on your intellect, on your interest, what opportunities do you really go for, and how that transforms you and helps you achieve your ambitions and dreams. So I feel that, with that said, I also feel that, referring to DDM Talha's question, it's okay to be wrong, because one of the keys to succeed in life is to be positive, is to look things from a better perspective. And if you are working hard and if you are doing best, one day or the other, everything will be the way you want to, and one day you will surely achieve your dreams. It is that approach that we need in life to succeed. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to remind all the disruptors to never go under the knife while Toastmaster Mariam is operating, if you want yourself to live, including myself. So, moving on.
Okay,
Yes.
before you start, we haven't decided the speech title of Toastmaster Talha. So Toastmaster Talha, we're going to deliver a speech from level 2, and the objectives of the speech are introduction to Toastmasters mentorship. And the title speech title I would like to give him is "There Are No Accidents." So this is the speech title, and let's see how he come up on this.
All right. So I will try to come up with a speech during the time between now and my speech slot, which is 7th. You told me I would be last. Anyhow, please ask me if I'm ready by then. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Mohammed Junaid. He will be delivering his icebreaker and he will be evaluated by DTM Sarfraz Nazir. And I won't introduce DTM Sarfraz Nazir to you because if I do, you'll be too scared to speak. So I will let him do the talking. DTM Sarfraz, please introduce the project. And everyone, please put your hands together for our icebreaker Toastmaster.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Excuse me, let the project be introduced first. Yeah. Sir, you are muted, sir.
It is my honor to introduce to you Toastmaster Mohammed Junaid, who is giving his first speech, the icebreaker, from the presentation mastery pathway. The purpose of his project or his speech is for Toastmaster Mohammed Junaid to introduce himself to the club and to learn the basic structure of a public speech. The title of his speech is An Intro. Toastmaster Mohammed Junaid, an intro. An intro, Toastmaster Mohammed Junaid.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Today is my icebreaker session as explained by Thala and Sarfraz. And today is my first icebreaker session. And if you want to know more about me, you can use the Google. Joke aside, my name is Junaid and I'm a father of 3 beautiful kids and 1 wife, unfortunately. As far as my career, as well as my education background is concerned, I have done my matriculation from a normal yellow kind of a school. And then I ended up my MBA with MBA in finance after my marriage. Obviously, my wife helped me out in completion of my studies. And in return, I reciprocate the same by letting my wife MBA along 2 kids. I was taking care of my 2 kids. And she got the 3.8 CGPA while I got 2.8. So you can imagine my hard work and devotion for her studies. As I told you, I was never good in the formal studies. That's why I'm still here and learning. As far as my career background is concerned, I am doing. I got in sales and marketing profession by my boss, who persuaded me to join the sales and marketing field, and that's why I got into that department. And I'm doing extremely good over there in that department. And I normally don't like to sit in the office regularly, and I feel sick in sitting in an office regularly. And since that day, I never spent my entire day in office. And so far, so good in progress. And I wish and pray that for the healthy life, so I can continue my career like this. I have made so many friends, corporate friends in my entire career by these things, by sales and marketing. And that's why I'm doing great in that kind of, in my jobs and responsibilities. And I always counted on my friends and family for everything. As far as I'm currently working in general insurance industry, and this is my 7th organization in the span of 16 years of career. And 16 years, and I have a quite diversified industry experience and did a lot of juggling in jobs, which made me a competitive person. And as I told you that I have a vast circle of corporate friends, and that's why I am surpassing in my targets and achieving goals during my career life. During my career of 16 years, I got the exposure of traveling to several countries for the recreational activities with my customers, with my vendors, and so on. And I believe in the quote, to travel is to live. And I'm also passing this sense into my kids, and we have been traveling to several countries since their childhood. We have been to USA, we have been to Disney, we have been to Paris, Europe, and so on. And my kids are so passionate about traveling, and they never get tired in traveling, and they are quite energetic in terms of exploring different activities in the world. They are more, they are getting more exposure than myself as I got in childhood. I got the information about this club back in 2018, and it took me 4 years to join the club. I got the information in a conference, in a CFO conference from someone, and then now I decided to join formally to improve my public speaking skills and to improve my interpersonal skills, so I can grow in further my career. And I also would like to pursue another field like teaching in an university, so I can start my another career in the academia. That's the aim of joining this club. Secondly, what else I do except this job and other activities? I normally try to spend time with my family and friends, and I do play golf, and I do swim with my kids in the summer. And on the other hand, that's a small intro of mine as an icebreaker. And I hope I covered the sufficient information as an initial stage. And I also would like to pass a disclaimer: everything in this speech is imaginary. Because reality is better to told or shown. So don't rely on my speech. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. You delivered one hell of a twist, Toastmaster Junaid. And seeing that you did it in your icebreaker is absolutely fantastic. So congratulations on your icebreaker. As per our tradition, we'll give our icebreaker a standing ovation. So everyone. In a twist, this standing ovation is also only imaginary. All right. And once again, as is quite apparent, now I'm doing this role after quite a while, so I skipped. I changed the order of speakers. Our second speaker was originally DTM Sarfraz Nazim. So first of all, my sincere apologies to him. And he will be delivering his Visionary Communication Level 2 project, Understanding Your Communication Style. And he will be evaluated by Toastmaster Mariam Arif. So Toastmaster Mariam, please introduce the project.
Okay. So DTM Sarfaraz project is Understanding Your Communication Style. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about the different communication styles and identify their primary style and the impact of their style on others. It should not be a report on the content of Understanding the Communication Style project. Instead, as an evaluator, what I really have to look for is the speaker telling us about their own communication style or the impact on others and some aspect of communication styles as well. So over to you, DTM Sarfaraz.
Toastmaster Mariam, when you were giving your speech, I hope you remember that I was not one of the disruptors.
Yes, we were.
The very first one.
Okay. Yeah. As an evaluator, you're supposed to ignore everything that happened before my speech.
We'll see.
Okay, I need permission to share a file.
My permission?
Yes, somebody host, one of the hosts.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it says hosts are
Yeah,
disabled.
just a second. Apologies. Yeah, now you can. Yeah, now you can.
Okay. Okay. Is the slide visible?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. When you are about to communicate with another person or a group of people, do you pay attention as to what their communication style is? Most likely not. We just communicate with others without focusing on the communication styles of others, even when we know our style. And why is it important to know the communication style? Because based on the communication style, how you communicate with them will vary. You cannot communicate in the same manner with each individual, or you will not have an effective communication. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about the 2 scales that make up the 4 communication styles, and then I'll tell you which is my preferred communication style. The 2 scales, the first one is the vertical style. I call it the focus scale. A person is either task-oriented or people-focused. Task-focused person focuses on tasks, projects, and goals, whereas a people-focused person pays attention to the feelings of other people. The other scale is the horizontal scale, and I call it the speed scale. Is the person fast or slow? Person who's fast, they talk fast, they walk fast. Person who is slow, they are slow-paced walkers, and they are slow in talking. When you put these 2 scales together, you get 4 quadrants or 4 communication styles. And briefly, I'll describe what each style stands for. The bottom right-hand side, the first style, I call them the Ronald Reagans. They are fast and task-oriented. The reason you have to know how to communicate with the task-focused people are, if you're presenting to them, you cannot give them details because they prefer summaries. They want to know what is the bottom line. I remember giving a presentation before executives of a corporation. I had given out a handout before my presentation. I was on slide number 5. The executive vice president who was in the meeting, he was looking at slide number 24 and he had a question. Since he was the executive vice president of the corporation, I could not say that you have to wait till I get to that slide. I had to answer at that moment. Otherwise, human resources would have sent security and they would have escorted me out saying you no longer work here. So when you're communicating with Ronald Reagans, they are direct people. You focus on their goals. You encourage them about their accomplishments and what they have achieved. The top right-hand side are the Paris Hiltons. These are people who are social in nature. If you are giving someone an opportunity to plan an event, a picnic, a company picnic, for example, you'll ask someone who's a Paris Hilton, not someone who's a Ronald Reagan. These people like involvement and they like to be with other people. When you're communicating with them, you talk about their dreams, their wishes, their hopes, their desires. The top left-hand side are the Edith Bunkers. If you are familiar with the famous American television show called All in the Family that featured Archie Bunker, his wife was Edith Bunker. She was always pleasing everyone. Whenever someone had to do something, she said, "Oh, I'll do it for you." If you have 2 Edith Bunkers together and there's only one chair, One is going to say, "Aap tashrif rakhiye." First, you. No, aap pehle baithiye. Nahi, aap tashrif rakhiye. Nahi, pehle aap. Nahi, pehle aap. 5 minutes later, they're still standing. These Edith bunkers, they focus on feelings. So you cannot talk about goals and bottom lines to them. You need to express in terms of feelings when you're communicating with them. And the last communication style, the bottom left-hand side, are the Einsteins. These are the thinkers. They're more like orators. These are people that do not work fast. They take their time. They want to make sure they are right, they're perfect. If you want something done yesterday or today, you cannot give it to an Einstein because you'll never get the report or project back from them. These people are good when you have to analyze something or analyze financial data, financial books of an organization. So these 4 styles, you have to know them. So that way you know how to communicate with them. For example, Ronald Reagan's, you'll find them in villages of Pakistan, where 2 of them are talking to each other. One says, "Oh, ye shaadi nahi ho sakti." This marriage cannot take place. The other one says, "Oh, kedi maa da putter jane hai jo mainu rok sakta hai." No mother has given birth to a son who can stop me. So it is important to understand the communication styles of others and your own communication style so you can effectively communicate. You cannot give orders to the Edith bunkers. You have to talk about their feelings. So when you're implementing something new in an organization, you'll talk about what the impact is to the bottom line if you're communicating with the Ronald Reagans. How should they feel if you're talking about the Edith bunkers? And give details if you're talking about to the Einsteins. Now, what's my preferred style? I call it situational communication style, which means I don't have one preferred style. I select the style based on the person I'm communicating with. If I'm leading a group in a company or organization or in a voluntary organization, I'll be a Ronald Reagan, giving orders, instructions, setting goals, making sure the goals are being accomplished. If I am in a social setting, I'll become a Paris Hilton. And you can ask Toastmaster Rishan and Toastmaster Fahim Razak at the District 122 trio that was held at Dreamland. After the presentations, I was having a good time with them in the bowling alley. If I am talking to a new Toastmaster, I may become an Edith bunker, making sure I make them feel comfortable at the meeting. And if I have to analyze data, I'll become an Einstein. So I've covered the 4 styles. You need to know your style and the styles of others you communicate. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Safras. As we are into the thick of the winter, that is ATC's education session, our next speaker is Toastmaster Razia Anam.
No, she is not available.
All right, she is not available. So our next speaker will be Toastmaster Mufaddal. Is it Mufaddal?
It's Mufaddal.
Mufaddal. Mufaddal Murtaza. He will be delivering his presentation mastery project level 1, project 2, writing his speech with purpose. His evaluator is Toastmaster Latif Masoor Ali. So Toastmaster Latif, please introduce the project.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster DTM Talha. Today, it's my honor to introduce Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza. He is a petroleum engineer currently working at the United Energy Pakistan. He's an online tutor and educational mentor for many international students. So today, Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza is embarking on level 1, project 2, writing a speech with a purpose. So ladies and gentlemen, his purpose of speech is to highlight the importance of overcoming the fear of public speaking. Project statement for project purpose is for the writing project to learn or review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Timer, please note, speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza, speech title, Face It to Kill It. Face It to Kill It, Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza. Over to you. Good luck.
But at the end, if the time allows, it's not mandatory.
It's up to you. If you end it up within 5 minutes, then you can show all the pictures.
Okay. Okay, so shall I start? Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. The topic for my today's speech is that you need to face it in order to kill it. We all have different type of phobias, right? Some of us have acrophobia, the fear from the height. Some of us have autophobia, the fear from loneliness. And some of us have nyctophobia, that is the fear from darkness. And some of us have glossophobia. Any guesses for glossophobia? Bingo, that's the fear from public speaking. And that's why we all are here together in order to overcome glossophobia, in order to that we can rise ourselves to a new level of horizon. So I had been a very severe patient, you can say, of glossophobia. The person you are watching me right now is not actually the person I used to be in my childhood life or even in my university life. My legs used to tremble a lot whenever I used to give presentations, and it was really difficult for me. In my school life, I never got the opportunity to give the presentations. Even my teacher never forced me to go on the stage and speak. So I was very much comfortable that it's all fine to not to develop such skills and it will go smooth. Same with my college life, same dry days, no opportunity to speak in front of public. But when I landed myself into the university, I realized that, Mufaddal, bro, this is not going to work out. If you want to pursue your career effectively, you need to develop this skill. What happened that I started to realize it and I started to take interest in presentation, but after giving a series of horrible and funny presentations, I realized that I need to work more. For this, I opted that, okay, now I have familiar faces in my classroom. I have less anxiety in front of my classmates, so I need to go out of that comfort zone. I joined Model United Nations, and trust me, I did disgusting in that as well. Then I realized that what should I do next? I should face some huge crowd now. So what did I do? That I joined a society. The purpose of that society was that they used to arrange certifications for different students from the university and for the students coming outside of the university. And if you join that society, you get an opportunity to do the hosting in that whole event. So I gave my rehearsal in the front of the head of the society. It went well for the reason that it was only me and the head of the society, so I had no anxiety at that time. But when I reached the stage, I had 400 audience sitting in front of me. Thank God that I was behind the podium, so none of them were able to see the shaking in my legs. However, I tried to take deep breaths. I stayed calm, and I started. The starting went really well, and the event went smooth. Now, at the end of the event, I had to make an announcement. We had a chief guest in that event. I had to call that chief guest on the stage, and I had to make an announcement that please come on stage, that we want to present a memento to you through the head of the society. I said the exact same thing, but in the reverse order. I said that please come on the stage to present the memento to the head of the society. And trust me, the whole auditorium was bursting with laugh. Everybody was laughing like crazy on a single face, and that was mine. I was all red. I just cannot explain this in words how I was feeling at that time. But the day went over. I came outside of my auditorium. I realized that, okay, it happened. My friends started to motivate me that, okay, mistakes happen. But I was really embarrassed, trust me. Then I realized that this was the worst thing that could happen to me, and I survived. I'm alive. So what's the big deal? This event actually removed my glassophobia. The purpose, I'm telling you all this, is that I would not have faced all these things if I had started to work in my school life. I would not have faced this thing if my teacher would have forced me to go on the stage and speak in front of people. I would not have faced this issue. I would have found Toastmaster in my school life. I wish that every school includes the curriculum of public speaking in their courses, where the students, they go and speak. They don't have any options. And I wish that every school has a mini Toastmaster club in them. For the reason that if you don't face it, you will not be able to feel it. Thank you. Over to you. Do you have time?
Yeah. All right. Let me display. Wait a second.
It's in the WhatsApp.
Yeah, I downloaded it. Just
Is the time being counted over here?
that time will be
I'm
counted.
requested to don't count the time. I just wanted to show you. Actually,
No worries.
the good part was that
No worries.
these
These are
embarrassing
the
moments were actually captured. So that's
these
why I just wanted.
these are the pictures.
Yeah, you can see.
Oh my God.
You can if you go upside.
Yeah.
You can actually see upside.
No, this is
I
your
was
text.
not able to see upside. I was not able to
Right.
use I was looking at the page. I was not looking at the 400 audience. If you come down, this was just the moment before I make the mistake.
Oh.
And this was the celebrity. I guess you might have seen him.
Yeah.
And you can see the laugh.
Kind
And this
of
is
a-
my red face. I was about to crack. And this
Wow.
was the audience at that time who just laughed at me. And this is after my overcoming of yesterday.
Right.
That I had no pictures. I had no page in my hand. That's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mufaddal. And there is a type of club specifically for children and for schools that's called the Gavel Club. So if you are interested, we can help you talk to various schools and we can have them established. And they're not even that expensive. Now, have you ever seen rain clouds on the horizon and then they rush onto the sky and everything gets dark and you are jumping up with joy that yes, after so many dry months, we'll have rain. And then what happens? No rain, just more suffocation. It just happened with me right now. I got contacted by a person. He's a Toastmaster and a member of Cloud 122 Toastmasters Club. And he said that I'd like to join your club. And I'm already a Toastmaster, so just tell me which account to credit and everything. And I was over the moon because he belongs to Azad Jammu and Kashmir. And that would have added another territory to the KTC portfolio. And I was already thinking of the poster and the introduction that I would make. And then I asked him, are you sure you want to join Karachi Toastmasters Club? And he said, no, I'm interested in Husn Kitabat Toastmasters Club. Anyhow, thank God I asked. And of course, Husn Kitabat is our only authorized registered Urdu club. And I happen to be associated with that too. So that's why the guy contacted me. But that is the change of weather that you sometimes experience. Now, moving on to our next speaker, we have Toastmaster Wahid, all the way from Iran, and he'll be delivering his level 1 project 3. I think his third project in 3 speeches, in 3 meetings. Is that right, Toastmaster Imran?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's on a hat trick today, and he'll be delivering his project, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Shakiluddin. So Toastmaster Shakiluddin, please come on the stage and introduce the project.
Good India, Talabin Hamid. Today, PM Wahid will present presentation mastery level 1, and his presentation is third, continuous third presentation. Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. And his speech title is
Sorry, Toastmaster Wahid, can you?
yeah.
A question of trust.
Wahid is a question of trust.
A question of trust.
Please, Mr. Wahid.
Toastmaster Wahid, can you see the timer window? Sorry, I am, yeah, I spotlighted the wrong window. Now you can see the timer window.
Yes, I'm seeing that.
Oh, all right.
Am I visible and audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So shall I start?
Yes.
Any relationship is built on trust. Without trust, there is nothing. Dear Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and future potential Toastmasters, good evening to you all. On this 360-degree horizon, today we are together. So today I want to talk, I want to tell about Dilshad, a 50-year-old Indian expert locksmith who was bachelor and who was living in the Parsis community. So Dilshad was really a respectable person in the society, but he wasn't honest. He didn't want to be honest. He only wanted that his dishonesty never got him into trouble again, because he has been in prison 13 years ago. So Dilshad was really interested in rare and expensive books to read, but he couldn't buy them. So every year he went to break a safe, steal some jewelry, and buy the books through an agent. So this year, Mr. Dilshad wanted also again to break a safe, and he was watching the house for 2 weeks and seeing that nobody is coming and nobody is going, so everything is safe. So he was sure that this year's project will go with success. He was happy, as from his name it is appeared that he was Dilshad. He was happy, but except for his hay fever in summertime. So next morning he went near to the house behind the wall with his tools packed on his back, and he was only feeling a little tickle of hay fever in his nose. So he carefully put on a pair of gloves, took a key, and opened the door and went inside. The safe was in the drawing room. So he went there, and the safe was behind an old painting. When he reached there, there was a table, and on the table there was a bowl of flowers. Again, the smell of the flowers came to his nose, and the tickle was there, so he sneezed a little. Then he put his bag down. The smell again came to his nose, and this time he sneezed louder. So at this time, there was a voice saying, "Cold or hay fever?" Unexpectedly, without any thinking, Dilshad said, "Hay fever." So the voice came, if you are serious about your work, you should see a doctor to treat it." The voice was really a kind and quiet voice, but with firmness in it. Then Dilshad saw a young, clever lady who was standing on the doorway in red clothes. She said, everybody thought I would be away for 1 month. But anyhow, I'm here now. Though I didn't expect to see a burglar here. Then Dilshad was in real trouble. He wanted to help, to do something to please that woman, somehow to manage the scenario. So the lady asked, what do you want to do now? So Dilshad said, please, let me go. I will never do it. I mean it. Then the lady said, with a sharp sound, should I let you go? If I let you go, you will rob somebody else. People like you threaten the society. So the man Dilshad said that I'm not somebody that who threatens society. I steal for a very good reason. And I'm also frightened of prison. Please, madam, let me go. Then the madam said, so you are frightened of prison, huh? He said, yes. At this time, the lady took a silver case and took a cigarette from the silver case. And so Dilshad wanted to please her. So he put off his gloves and gave a lighter to the woman to lighten the cigarette. At this time, she said that, okay, on one condition, if you help me to open the safe, because I've been away and I have forgotten the number of the safe. If you open it, I'm going to a party tonight. I want the jewelry. So Mr. Dilshad said that it is okay, just leave it for me. So his gloves were already, taken off. So he put the number. In 1 hour, he got the jewelry from the safe, gave them to the lady, and went away happily. But 3 days later, police arrested him. So police came, and there were fingerprints all over the room, and they arrested Dilshad. And Dilshad now is in the assistant librarian in the prison. And whenever anybody talks about women, so she gets angry, especially when they talk about honor among thieves. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Wahid. Our next speaker is myself, and we have our champion speaker now as the evaluator. Now, whenever he is on the stage, he becomes the champion. And whenever he's not on the stage, others become champions. You all know and love him as Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. Over to you, Toastmaster Javed.
It's a tough job to introduce DTM Talha. I guess he's completing his 5th pathway. And I don't know if there are any more pathways left in the base camp to complete. So for me to evaluate him is a privilege, and it's also tough. So Toastmaster Talha is completing his introduction to Toastmaster mentoring project today. And the purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmaster envisions mentoring, and for the member to share some aspect of previous experience as protege. And the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. I don't have the speech title with me.
It is, there are no accidents.
There are no accidents. and I happen to be his protege. So let's see how he shares his experience as a protege. Over to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you so much. It was July 1994. My mysterious mentor waved a wand, and I suddenly received the news that I had flunked the Urdu paper in my FSC pre-engineering. Now, failure is failure. You can spend a lifetime explaining to people that your center was blacklisted because some other people cheated in it. They will never listen. And they will keep asking you, who fails Urdu? Even my parents ask me this. Who fails Urdu? And in decades of married life that I've seen them live, it was one of the few things that they seemed unanimous on. Anyhow, we all gave the Urdu paper again, and then we all gave the second year papers. In the end, it all turned out in a glorious grade B. Little did I know that what my mysterious mentor had in store for me, because that grade B in pre-engineering meant that I could get no admission in a respectable university in Karachi or Lahore. I wanted to become an engineer. And then I discovered that there was this one institute that was waiting with open arms for failures like us. Institute of Chartered Accountants in Pakistan. They told me that come to us. You know you can't get admitted anywhere else. What are you thinking? Who are you kidding? Come to us, become a chartered accountant. We only require 45% marks. And that too, if you even hope that you'll get 45% marks, that's it. If your principal thinks that you do not suck enough to not even get 45% marks, bring that certificate to us. Come into our waiting arms. And there I was. I ran into the waiting arms of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, gave their aptitude test, and joined Chartered Accountants. But my mentor was not done with it. I gave the FE1 exam and I passed all the papers in first attempt. But then the mentor was waiting with his magic wand, and it was waived, and I failed in the company law paper. I gave the paper again, failed again. And then the third time, on the brink of losing it all, my mentor had mercy on me, and I passed. 2 years later, the PE1 exam came. And once again, my mentor was standing by with the rotten wand and a terrible lack of imagination, because once again, I failed in the corporate law exam. I failed again. And then once again, on the brink of losing it all, I qualified the PE1 exam. Then I got into A. Ferguson & Co. and completed my articles from there. And all of that led me to meet a person, a fellow chartered accountant, DTM Rashid Dasagir. So I believe that by flunking me in that Urdu paper, actually my mentor wanted me to meet DTM Rashid Dasagir. I met DTM Rashid Dasagir, we became friends. The friendship continued for years, in fact, more than a decade, until 2016, when he asked me to join Karachi Toastmasters Club. In fact, he did not ask me to join Karachi Toastmasters Club. He merely suggested that you visit this club. And I came to Karachi Toastmasters Club in, I think, early 2016. After 2 or 3 meetings, he started insisting that become a member, become a member. Finally, just to get rid of his continued insistence, I became a member. June 1, 2016. And he started insisting, deliver speeches. For the life of me, I had no plans to ever deliver a speech at Karachi Toastmasters Club, but continued pesting for 7 months, and I delivered my Icebreaker, January 2017. In June of 2017, my mentor waved the wand again, and I was nominated as the VP PR. But funnily enough, that was not to be. Things are never straightforward, especially with me. The mentor waved his wand, and our VP Education had to resign because of her educational engagements. And she nominated me as VP Education. So I completed the spell as VP Education, and then I got elected as president. And at the end of that year, our district became official, and I was selected or nominated by Toastmasters International as the first ever club growth director of Toastmasters Pakistan. So from trunking my Urdu paper, I believe that my mentor really wanted me to become the club growth director, and then the program quality director, and finally the district director of District 122 Territorial Council. Who's that mentor? The very existence of whom is denied in the title of the speech. There are no accidents. Yes, there are accidents, and those accidents mentored me, because thanks to those accidents, I moved on to another phase of my life, and I learned what not to do. So sometimes your mentor need not be a human. It can be events, it can be thoughts, it can be yourself. And I'm thankful to accidents, because of those accidents, I'm standing here before you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you so much. That was an amazing speech taken. People should pay to listen to that speech. I mean, how come they're not paying you like 1,000 rupees per minute? They should. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll work on that. Anyhow, our next speaker is Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, and he will be evaluated by DTM Sarshri. So DTM Sarshri, please introduce the project.
Fellow Toastmasters and honorable online audience, and also the audience in the room. Our champion, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, will be delivering a project from the pathway engaging humor, and that's level 4. And the project is writing a compelling blog. The speech title is Connecting the Dots. The purpose of this project is for the member to review the skills needed to write and maintain a blog. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share aspect of his experience maintaining a blog. The length of the speech is 2 to 3 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster Javed.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, thank you, Mr. Evaluator. I had not known I did not notice that my speech length is only 2 to 3 minutes. Now I'm thinking, how should I end my speech in 2 to 3 minutes, because I had prepared for 5 minutes. Anyways, I'll skip some part. So, what is your favorite speech of all time, if I may ask Toastmaster GQ? Favorite speech of all time? Anyone, if you can mention.
My own or
anyone in the world, you know, from any era, any time.
Any era, any time. Okay. The last speech of Prime Minister on Sunday.
Wow.
That hasn't happened yet.
I was expecting some sort of criticism.
So I would go and listen to that again, only because of your recommendation. So my speech, you know, my favorite speech of all time are 3, but I would like to mention only 2 here. One is the speech which Arnold Schwarzenegger gave in 2005 at USC commencement. And the other one is the speech given by Steve Jobs at Stanford 2009 commencement. And the reason why I like those speeches is because they have impacted me and my thought patterns and my perspective in life. So one point that Steve Jobs made in his speech was connecting the dots. So I'm going to read very quickly a small transcript from his speech. Then I will try and explain how it has helped me complete this project today. So, and 17 years later, I did go to college, but I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I could not see any value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at that time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could not stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on those ones that looked interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor. Friend's room. I returned Coke bottles for 5-cent deposit to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity, intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you an example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label, every drawer was beautifully calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and I didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about sans serif typeface, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had ever dropped into on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it is likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on those calligraphy classes, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do now. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very clear looking back 10 years later. I'm done with my speech. No, I know I'm over time, but how this helped me in my life, in my career. I had made a goal for myself, for my personal development, that I would do one certification course every year. And I have been doing this since 2014 or 15. In 2017, I stumbled upon a course of digital marketing. At that time, there was no criteria for me
to choose what course I would join. Anything that would interest me, I would just join, apart from the fact if it is going to help me in my professional life or not. So I joined digital marketing, and the first thing they did was they taught me how to design a website. And for that, you have to buy a domain, you have to make a website to practice on it. So I decided to have my own website, javedbhaji.com. And for that, now I was confused. What content should I put onto that website? Nobody would visit to see my face. And if I want to share my face, I have Facebook. So what would I do? So one of the idea was to have a blog on that website. What would I write on that website, on that blog? I was inspired by Allama Iqbal, so I decided to name that blog Falcon's Blog. And I thought that I would write and explain Allama Iqbal's poetry in English on that blog. But that was just a thought. I was not able to do anything with that. But then I thought that why not share the normal things that happens in our life. So one night I was sitting with my friends having a dinner, and we were discussing what is the best way to learn, books or videos. And we were fighting with each other. And the next day in the morning, the idea came into my mind that I should write a blog on that same discussion. So I wrote it. And from that day onwards, I have been writing on and off on that blog about the simple things in life, mostly relating to personal development. Looking back, when this project came, and I thought, okay, it was an elective project. I thought I already have a blog, so why not present that into KTC meeting? So if I look back now, if I hadn't done the digital marketing course, I wouldn't have been making my own website. If I was not making my own website, I wouldn't have the blog, and this project wouldn't have been completed. So this is how it is. You don't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust. You have to trust in something. In life, guts, destiny, whatever. You have to trust that somehow the dots would connect into your future. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Javed. With that, we now move on to the last project that we have. It is by Toastmaster Kareem Meghani, and he will be delivering effective coaching level 1, project 5, evaluation and feedback 2. Now, this project is about doing a speech after receiving a feedback on the previous speech. And the speaker is expected to incorporate the feedback from the previous speech into the current speech. It can be the same speech or it can be different, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the feedback, the improvement areas that were learned in the previous speech are implemented. So Toastmaster Kareem was suggested to use the podium wisely in the previous speech and to add drama and sound modulation or voice modulation. So with that, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Kareem Meghani. The speech title is Job Satisfaction. Job Satisfaction, Toastmaster Kareem Meghani.
I'm audible.
He's on the.
How many of us sitting in this meeting understand the word job satisfaction? Or they can say that they are really satisfied with their jobs. How many of you can at least define what is the meaning of job satisfaction? Keep this question with you. Let's come back to it. Toastmaster of the day, dear Toastmasters and guests. When we talk about job satisfaction, it's our everyday life. Yes? How many years each of you are working in a particular job or in different jobs? But how many of you can say that really we are satisfied? If I see my story, I started as a hotelier. I started my life in Karachi Marriott Hotel. I was a really passionate hospitality person. I wanted to work in a hotel, in a 5-star hotel, and I want to be something at that time. But my whole life was divided into 2 parts. One was professionally as a hospitality guy, starting from 8 o'clock in the morning, finish at 5:30. But in the evening, I am a volunteer by heart with my community. And that started when I was 17 years old. So when I did my first job, I was really happy with the hotelier environment. I did a 2 years management training, and then I become assistant manager reservations in Karachi Marriott Hotel. I was really satisfied, but still, every time when the clock tells me 5:30, I need to go back to the community. And I was thinking about it that, I have such a pressure job and I was loving it, enjoying it, but still, I love the community work. I went to Saudi Arabia. I got a great opportunity with the Intercontinental Hotels. I worked with the pre-opening of a Holiday Inn in Al Khobar, Saudi Arabia. I created the reservation systems and I was working on my peak of my career. But Sundays, I was with the community again. My passion was still the community. I love kids. I start teaching them on Sundays. Whenever I have a break, I will do some community service. I don't know why. 2005, when my life had another step that I will get married. And that time I have to decide that I will stay in Saudi Arabia or I will go back to Pakistan because my wife is in Pakistan. I decided to go back to Pakistan. But at that time, after working for 9 years in hospitality, in a peak of my career, I said to myself, Kareem, are you satisfied what you are doing? Are you happy with the hotel work? Sometimes 16 hours, sometimes 12 hours, 14 hours of working with hotels. Are you happy with it? I was happy, but I was more happy with the community. So I said to myself, I'm back to Pakistan. Why not I start working professionally with the community? I had a goal in my mind. 6 months looking for job in the community and different organization in a social organizations. Finally, I got an opportunity in 2006 and I start working professionally with an ONG, with a non-governmental organization. Mind you, ONG is in French. And since then, till now, I was working in the community in a professional capacity. But another hiccup came. I was really happy all my life till 2019, 2020. All my work, I was really satisfied. And the pandemic hit. All my social work stopped. Everything online. I'm not meeting the community. Long-time friend tell me, join Toastmasters. Maybe that will help you to motivate you, a voluntary organization. And I joined and I enjoyed, you all know, a lot of success. But I was not satisfied since February 2022. I start losing my passion about my job. Suddenly, I was not happy. I was not interacting with the kids. I was always online. I'm not meeting the community. I'm not doing social work physically. So I start looking for jobs. I again went even back to the hospitality. I was trying to get job. Did 2 interviews already with wonderful companies. Eventually, they didn't select me because I was overqualified. And fortunately, February 2022, my boss announced, now we can do physical interaction. Now we can do physical programs. And Karim Meghani is back. March, 1 region, 4 community programs, plantation activity. I am still in the office. I'm working with my passion. Job satisfaction is all about passion. What you love, just keep doing it. Keep improving it. Money will come and go, but satisfaction will come from your heart. Toastmaster of the day.
Unmute, sir. DTM.
Apologies. Thank you so much. So with that, our education session comes to an end, and no apologies, Toastmaster Latif. We are already behind schedule for that. If you had planned it, if you had intimated earlier, maybe we could have accommodated. But apologies. So now we will move on to our journal evaluation session. But before that, yeah, of course, I know I won't ignore a DTM. So I'm just looking at the time. So unfortunately, we are like 20 minutes over time. So we'll move on to the votes now. And Mr. Timer, are all the speakers qualified?
Yes.
Yeah.
This one and this one is qualified. As per that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So here are the timing. Mariam,
No, just tell us that who is disqualified.
So very sorry to you. Yeah. Like we were 7 minutes and 35 seconds.
All right.
And Javed Bhatti is supposed to 2 to 3 minutes, but he took 4 minutes and 12 seconds.
Okay, so everyone except myself and Toastmaster Javed, they are qualified. All right. So with that, we move on to the journal evaluation session now. And our journal evaluation session is the crux of Toastmasters, because in this session, we receive feedback on whatever we did during the meeting, including the speeches, including the table topics, and of course, the evaluations and how the meeting was managed. So everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Ibn Al-Ra.
Hello, Toastmasters and guests. Finally, we have come to the evaluation segment. As we all know, feedback is the breakfast of the champion. Okay, this segment will, the proceeding of this segment will move like, first we will have the table topic evaluation, then we will have prepared speeches evaluation, then I'll take reports from the facilitator, and finally I'll give my feedback about the overall meeting. So without further ado, let's welcome Ghulam Qadir Campwada as a table topic evaluator. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran. Okay. So table topics were conducted by Toastmaster Mariam Aftab Kidwai. We know Mariam as a very good extempo speaker, but today she was the table topic master. She started off very well
the table topic session and explained very well how the table topic session conducts. And the best part, the start of this table topic session, was the way she explained that we should volunteer and come over here as a table topic speaker. And the sentence which she said was, why me? Instead of we should be calling it why me, we should be telling try me. So that was very well explained by Toastmaster Marie Martha Kidwai regarding table topic sessions. So the first one, the table topic speaker, was Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. The topic was memories of winter. So Toastmaster Latif spoke about ice cream and peanuts, and it was very well explained, the entire topic which was assigned to him. The only thing improvement which I would advise him was his body language. He was not Latif, which we know it in the meetings these days. So Latif was standing like this and he was giving a speech. So I'm not sure why Latif was standing like this. He could have stood properly and could have given the proper speech the way he delivers. So next was Toastmaster Mehrod. I have not met her. Probably she's the new member. She's the new member?
No. Not yet.
No, not yet. ITC. Okay. ITC. Perfectly fine. So the topic which was assigned to her was which food you like most in summer. So she explained that she likes pasta, she likes golgappe. So these are the foods which can also be eaten in the winter and the spring and the autumn as well. But the best part of her speech was her body language and the way she delivered. So it was an amazing speech, the way she delivered. The third one was guest Ali, which season you like? And he responded that he likes winter. And he explained why he likes winter, because what I heard online that he lives in Canada. And the best part which he explained is that while living in Karachi, there are 8 months where we have to switch on the ACs and the electricity bill goes up. So that was a good explanation. However, a little bit of areas of improvement regarding the body language. Guest Ali was standing at one position and the hand movements were pretty little. So I would just advise that while you are delivering any speech, use this stage properly and try to move in a meaningful gesture. So overall, a good table topic. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir. Okay, now we are moving towards our prepared speech evaluation. Our first speaker was Toastmaster Mariam Arif. She was delivering the project from level 4 and she was managing the difficult audience. Let's ask the evaluator of Toastmaster Mariam Arif. Was she able to manage the audience, difficult audience? So over to you, Toastmaster Karim Meghani.
Thank you, General Evaluator. What an honor that you witness such a nice speaker, such a professional speaker, dear Mariam Arif. You're always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to hear you. You started wonderfully. You talked about some beautiful example about Elon Musk and some other names. And then you have a content which was talking about 5 points: knowing yourself, self-confident, manage yourself, look around, generous, self-awareness. This topic needs more time, I will tell you. I will honestly tell you that, it's not easy to understand, to grab all the information about this particular subject in this time. It needs more time. And definitely you choose this subject. You talked about the 5 things, you worked very effectively, but probably I think that the audience may not grab all the information, including there was a lot of disruption and you are expecting it. So the subject which you are picking it for a disruptive speech, when you Usually we need to prepare you in your practical life that you will get disruption and how to manage it. But in this case, you know that you will be disruptive, people will be disturbing you, people will be talking. So maybe a topic which is more related, not a subject which is something can be covered with the disruption. I think that will be an interesting decision for yourself. I think you did excellent to manage us. We were very cruel to you. We supposed to disturb you one time, but we disturbed, I think, several times. And we were not very professional on this because we were just enjoying, we were just enjoying and see your responses. But you manage it professionally. I think that one of the things in disruption, what I faced in my life, if I say that if somebody is disturbing me, I will note it. I'll say that, let's say Latif is disturbing me. Okay, Latif, I understand your point. I will get back to you. I think that was missing. DTM Tala was disturbing you. I was disturbing you. TM Imran was talking. Some other people were talking. They said, okay, thank you very much for your comments. I'll get back to you. After the meeting, we will have time to discuss. Let's discuss it more professionally. This subject needs more time. Let's work on it. So I think that was missing. Probably the challenge, to challenge this particular topic and this thing, if you're bringing your personal story after a disruption, I will prefer that you bring some drama also. You can say, I was talking in my life to my parents about my medical life, how I become a doctor. This only story, if you talked in dialogue, that will really work. I think you are an excellent speaker. This particular project is very difficult, and I wish you all the best for your future projects. You are an excellent speaker. Your body language was fantastic. Your language is fantastic. And I wish you all the best. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kareem, for such a wonderful evaluation. Just a minute. Okay, now we are moving towards the speaker who was one of the disruptors. So Toastmaster Mariam, the stage is all yours. You can take your revenge.
You're unmuted.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Just a second, let me, TM Imran. Can't again not see TM Imran. Okay. So my speaker and my disruptor titled as What's Your Style? So DTM Surfaraz, just as always, you started off very powerfully. You put forward a question in front of the audience, which is always the best way to hope that the audience does have your attention. It was very well researched. You shared these slides with us. And I would say that you did put a lot of hard work and effort into it, because it was there was a lot of extensive information about the topic. So you basically talked about 4 communication styles, and despite the fact that you did have a lot of theory in your slides, yet you managed to make it very interesting and very relatable, which I feel is an art to do, and you really excelled in doing so. So you talked about the Ronald Reagan, Paris Hilton, Edith Bunker, and Einstein, and I feel that whenever you talked about any of those styles, the audience could relate to it, because I could relate to it, and I just realized that I'm an Einstein. You shared your personal experiences, you shared those villagers, you shared that how it applies to our daily lives as well. You gave interesting examples, and you also used a few Punjabi lines and a few Urdu lines, and you made sure that you translated them into English as well. So you really compelled and forced the audience to look around and find relevant examples and identify that, okay, which person uses which communication style. But you very cleverly, when it came to you, you said that, okay, you decide according to your own situation, and you gave us relevant examples as well. So you did amazing in terms of gestures and transitioning and the eye contact and the speech preparation and the self-confidence. So on that, you were amazing. Excellent. But towards coming where you can improve upon, I feel that first of all, you were sitting, if that would be possible, that if you could stand up and move around, that would have added more impact to your speech, because I felt that since you were sitting, you did have those gestures, but that sort of restricted your own body language. So when you used those examples of the villagers and you showed us that punch, that would have been more effective if you would have stood up and made meaningful movements between those dialogues and used a lot of gestures if you were standing. Secondly, in terms of organization, I feel that we can improve in terms of speech organization, because your speech was divided into two halves. At first, you gave general examples and your personal examples as well, and then you talked about your communication styles. So you went back and forth in terms of explaining these styles and giving us relevant examples. How about you first either explain us all these styles and then give us the examples, or you first explain one style, give its relevant examples, and then move on to the other style. So I think that would have been a better organization. But all in all, it was an amazing speech, and I really enjoyed it. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mariam Arif. I'm sure DTM Sarfaraz, you have noted down all those suggesting points. Sorry, all those points suggested by Toastmaster Mariam Arif. So moving on to our third speaker, and he was an icebreaker. So let's welcome DTM Sarfaraz Nazir to evaluate the icebreaker speaker. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially you, Toastmaster Muhammad Junaid. I enjoyed your icebreaker speech. I'll tell you 3 things that I liked about your speech, and then I will give you some suggestions for improvement based upon how I felt during your speech. What I liked about your speech was the information you gave. The purpose of your speech was to introduce yourself to the audience, to the club, and you did that. You gave us a lot of information within the 4 to 6 minute speech. You talked about your family, your education MBA, your wife's MBA, your grade point average, your background, the number of jobs that you've held over 16 years. You talked about the travel. You like traveling and your children like traveling. A lot of information in a few minutes. The second thing I liked about your presentation was the humor. Most of the time, we don't find humor in icebreaker speeches. In your opening, you said something about 3 kids and 1 wife. The way you mentioned 1 wife, it appeared as if you would like to have the 2nd wife. Towards the end, you said that everything you told us was imaginary. Well done. The third thing I liked about your speech was the ease with which you presented. You had a piece of paper, so you could refer it to your presentation. I've noticed some speakers holding a piece of paper, but you can see their hands shaking because the paper is moving while they're holding it. You were well at ease before the group. I liked your speech for that reason. How to improve it? Your titles was simply an intro. You could have changed it because the purpose of the title is to attract the attention of the audience. You want to make them listen to you. Perhaps, who is Junaid would be a good title. The second thing that I would want you to improve in your future speeches is your organization. You had a lot of information back and forth where you talked about your family, your job, and then traveling. You can organize into 3 sections or 3 segments. The first one about yourself, who you are, your background. The second segment or second section would be your occupation, or you can make it your family, where you describe your children, talk about your children, and that they like traveling, and your wife about her MBA. And the third section would be Toastmasters. Why Toastmasters? Why you joined it? What do you hope to accomplish? I enjoyed your speech because of all the information you provided us, the humor that you used in your speech, and the ease with which you presented your speech. I would like to see you improve upon your titles of your speech in the future and to organize it a little bit better. I enjoyed the speech, well done, and I look forward to your second speech. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Sarfaraz, for such a wonderful evaluation. I would like to add something about Toastmaster Junaid, some interesting thing. When he shared his icebreaker speech, and when I read his icebreaker speech, and it was written, if you want to find out about Junaid, then Googled it. I Googled and found two Junaids. One is Junaid Jamshed and second one is Junaid Akbar. I told him that you cannot be Junaid Jamshed because he is no more in this world. And please confirm that are you the Junaid Akbar or someone else? So finally he sent me a message that I am Muhammad Junaid only. So thank you so much for delivering such an such a wonderful icebreaker speech. Moving on to our next speaker, Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza is one of the new Toastmaster and very energetic and enthusiastic Toastmaster. He will be evaluated by Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, we would like to have your evaluation about Toastmaster Mufaddal's speech. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Imran. Today, Toastmaster Mufaddal not only encourage all the other speakers who try to enroll, but at the time of moment when they have to deliver, they say, not now. Maybe busy. They look for some other commitments just to avoid a speaking slot, or maybe an opportunity to miss in a matter of growing. What I loved in Toastmaster Mufaddal's speech was that he himself, all through the journey, was asking himself, grow Mufaddal, grow. And I loved it. Let me first comment on the things which I like in your speech. I like the way you presented yourself. I like the way you attract the audience, looking at themselves, feeling them that they are talking to you, or you are giving a subject which is preferred or loved to the audience. What else? The smile. Everything in this speech was amazing. Let me tell you things which can get more energetic while delivering your speech. First thing first, there were few moments where you said that you could not deliver. Your pants were wet, or you were shivering. You were not able to look into the eyes of the audience. How about putting your title towards every story at the end? Face it, Mufaddal, face it. Face it. And as you will tell this, we will keep engrossed to yourself that what are you trying to face again? As you said it, at the end, while you deliver now, or what you had it, you could have said it, as all what I face to what I wanted to grow, today I killed it. This was made attachment to the speech title. There was nothing wrong, but a better intent to deliver a speech will make you a better speaker. Let me tell you, there were people who always were ready to listen to that laugh because there were some jokes, there were some points which were landed very, very accurately towards the audience. Now, if they are smiling or laughing, you don't have to tell me that, no, you were embarrassed. If you said people at the audience were laughing and then you find the audience were right now were delivering and smiling, you could have said, look at the same feeling. I was feeling the same. You know, you could have made some differences. Now, in short, as I asked you in the separate note, what you would like to learn to about knowing your speech, I will say every time you deliver your speech, divide it into 3 parts. Then, how, and now. So that will make your speech a complete in timeline. Rest all, you are a perfect speaker. Just want to deliver more projects to grow and high. Thank you. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster, for such a wonderful evaluation. Moving on towards our neighboring country, that is Iran, Toastmaster Wahid, an eloquent speaker, will be evaluated by Toastmaster Shakiruddin. So let's welcome Toastmaster Shakiruddin.
Toastmaster Wahid today in the speech is very well. He explained very well in his speech, and he spoke how Mr. Dilshad, story of Mr. Dilshad, an Indian guy, and how he steal the books. And he explained very well that he steal the books, and the plot and the story is very well and interesting. Everyone involved in his story, and he attract the people. And at the end of the story was again interesting, and also the humor present in his story. At the end, he explained that that guy who caught and then went to jail, and then he was the librarian at the jail. So starting with a slow pace, but attract the people in the middle of the story, and then in the end, it was again a very interesting end. So just one or two things which I note, other than the story. The plot in the story was very attractive, but this movement was a little bit slow. And the purpose of that speech was vocal variety. So my problem is that he should improve his vocal variety. The pace slow or down, because he was giving the speech on a same tone. So the improvement on the vocal variety, and also I found the space where he was standing, because when you are speaking on a camera online, so your background should be good, and you should move to and fro, and you should have a space. If you have a better space for the movement, you can deliver good. So to make these are some improvement topics and improvement points for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shakiruddin, for such a wonderful observation and wonderful evaluation. Moving on to our next speaker, and DTM Talha was the next speaker, and he will be, let's ask Javed Bhatti to please share his evaluation about DTM Talha.
This was the first thing DTM Talha did. A pause, a purposeful one in the beginning of his speech. What helped? This helps him to capture the audience attention. Number two, he balanced his posture. His shoulders, his legs, everything was perfectly balanced. This shows that how confident he is. Needless to say, whenever DTM Talha speaks, there are few things that everybody can learn. Number one is vocabulary. He uses very meaningful words that are not usually used by in our daily speaking daily routines. So, for example, today in my office I was writing something and I used the word skip. I skipped my classes. Okay, and I just learned that the better word would be I flunked. So these subtle things, he is very good at. Purposeful movements. But I noticed today that the movements were when he changed his stance. He was in the middle. But the movement were for the sake of movement. They were not in sync with the content.
So this is one little point that he can improve on. He was here, he was there, but these movements were just for the sake of movement. There was no need for him to move at that particular point of the speech. You know, he always has the punchlines. You can have a lifetime explaining people, but they will not listen. And you can have you can have experience as BTM Dalha, but the evaluator will have to find something to say negative about it. This is my job. So one more thing that I think he can improve upon, I don't know if he ever writes, if you ever write your speeches or not, or it all impromptu all the time. I believe that I think that it is impromptu, and as accomplished as you are, you don't need to write. You feel, but this has a certain disadvantage as well. Sometimes, for example, today you were portraying a lot of scenes in your speech. In the same speech, we were at 4 different places. We were at your college life, we were at your professional life, and you failed. You explained how you failed multiple times in your life. So I thought if you could use a little bit more descriptive language and cut down on those instances, maybe explain 2 failures, elaborate them very well, and so that we can be there with you in that moment with the help of that descriptive language. Apart from that, it is very hard for a Toastmaster as junior as me to find something improvement, to find some improvement points. So with some purposeful descriptive language and purposeful movement, I think this speech would have been very great. All in all, it was very good. Vocabulary, catchy phrases, delivery, balanced posture. That's about it for myself.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Javed Rafi, for your valuable evaluation. Now, to request DTM Sashwe to evaluate Toastmaster Javed Rafi's speech, the stage is all yours.
Was Steve Jobs, and it was Arnold. The champion. Toastmaster Javed came, he saw the audience, not the WhatsApp messages, but yes, he absolutely nailed it. Gestures there, postures there. He used the stage, he used the board, and it was an amazing all-round speech, which we are used to seeing, because that speech by the best marketing mind, I think. Apologies for that. You don't think so, maybe.
No, that's all he is.
Yes, absolutely, all he is. All he is. He had 3 parts in that speech, and you chose the one which I also like, and then you move to how your story is almost the same as that, and that match the project's requirements. Now for some points to work upon. First of all, read the messages. Your speech would have been way better if and that was a 5 minutes above speech. And when you knew that time was short, maybe just don't read word to word about what he said. He said just mention the key points that dropping out from college is the reason why Muzammil has an iPhone right now. So that's one thing you can you could have done. But yes, overall wonderful speech, matched the objective, well done. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Vicky and Safir, for such a wonderful evaluation. Now moving on towards our last speaker, Toastmaster Kareem Meghani, from all the way from Madagascar, and let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid to evaluate his speech. Please welcome Toastmaster Talha.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Kareem, your speech about job satisfaction was quite satisfactory. But more than that, it displayed some amazing techniques. Anybody who edits photos knows that if you ramp up the exposure on a photo, you have a lot of space to manipulate the various levels beneath that high exposure. That means that if you increase the exposure to a maximum level, you can do a lot of manipulation in various parts of the photo, and the spectrum is that much wider. Since you were told to increase your vocal variety in your last speech, I think that's exactly the technique you applied to address it, only in audio form. You started on a high note and you continued on a high note, because beneath that high note, there was a lot of space for you to introduce voice modulation. And you did it perfectly well. You started with some rhetorical questions and you did not wait for the answers. But again, I could identify that they were rhetorical questions. So they could be not answered and you moved on. You had a wider view from the camera, and again, that addressed your use of the podium point. You had great expressions both on your face and in your voice, and both were audible and visible perfectly, despite the fact that you used a wider frame of reference for your speech. You had, as always, a great story, which is based on your life. Now, a few improvement areas. First of all, you started with what is always a major turn off for me. And I always point that out and nobody listens. But anyhow, you said, if you see my story. Now we know that we are in your story. You don't need to remind us. That was a redundant sentence, and that breaks the suspension of disbelief, and that brings us right out of the story and reminds us that we are listening to a speech. Then you had a few missed opportunities for humor in your speech. For example, you said OMG. So you could have pronounced this in the fancy French way, and then you could have said, oh, that means an NGO in French. You guys won't know. Or when you said you were overqualified for the job, you could have introduced some sarcasm or some, some kind of humor there to land the joke. But overall, your speech was great. You met your objectives perfectly, and you implemented all the improvement areas. If you just amplify yourself a little bit more, you can become an even greater speaker. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha, for your valuable evaluation. It's time for me to ask our timer. Have all the evaluators qualified for voting?
Yeah.
Yes.
All are good.
So I request DTM staff to please float the poll. Now it's time for me to take reports from the facilitator. Let's welcome our debutant grammarian and word master, Toastmaster Mohammed Mustafa.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be a grammarian. First of all, I would like to tell you that who were the speakers that used the word of the day horizon in their speeches. So the first one who used the word of the day was Mufaddal Murtaza. Mufaddal. And the second person who used is our president, DTM Talha. And the third person was TM Wahid, right? One who is from,
Yeah.
Okay. No, actually I was confirming. I don't know how to pronounce.
All right.
So okay, now let's move on to some of the grammatical errors that I noticed during the speeches. So first of all, there was a mistake, basic mistake of sentence structure, which was about the would have, the incorrect use of would have. So I would like to tell you to have a clear concept about how to use. So अगर हमें इस तरह का sentence कहना होता है कि अगर for example अगर मैं तुम्हारी जगह होता तो मैं engineering नहीं कर पाता. So we would say it as if I were you, I wouldn't have been able to pass engineering. Okay, so the mistake there was made was instead of would have, would had was used in such kind of sentences. So another example is that for example अगर मैंने Toastmasters नहीं ज्वाइन किया होता तो मैं इतना convincing speaker नहीं होता. So it can be said as had I not joined Toastmasters, I wouldn't have been such an eloquent or convincing speaker. So these are the two methods in which we can use the use of would have. So please keep in mind that. Otherwise, there were some basic mistakes of prepositions and some mistakes of pronunciation, but I believe that these are the mistakes that everyone is aware of, and these were made not because of someone is unaware about these, but because we are new here, or because we do not have that consciousness when we are speaking in front of people. So no need to worry about that. So this is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohammed Muzammil, for your thorough report. Let's move on to the timer's report. Timer could be have your report about the timings. Yes. Just tell us.
About it, everyone is qualified except 2 persons in the speaking.
Thank you.
Otherwise, the evaluators are okay.
Thank you for your brief report. Let's move on to the R counter. We have Toastmaster the three Pansurali. Toastmaster the three Pansurali, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I will not take much of the time. As I noticed, today's speeches were more professionally organized, pronounced, and the effectiveness of listening of the audience was there. Now there were two Toastmasters, which is one of our grammarian, the Toastmaster Mohammed Muzammil, and the new Toastmaster, budding Toastmaster, who I just evaluated his speech. Mufaddil, Toastmaster Mufaddil. So these were the speakers today who I found a lot of hours, but that's okay because you are just stepped into a room where there are few of people who have already practiced a lot. Just keep practicing, trust the process, and you will enjoy the journey. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. Let's welcome our debutant listener, Toastmaster Muhammad Mazam.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Mufaddal Murtaza.
I just wanted to make it clear. Should I ask questions on you or should I explain?
There's no need to explain, just ask the question.
Just ask the question, who spoke what? Yeah, from here.
So let's check the listening capabilities of you all of you. The first question, what was the occupation of Dilshad in the speech of TM Wahi?
Librarian.
No, not me.
That was the final.
Locksmith.
Yeah.
It was initially locksmith. Bingo. Good, very nice. So, who said, who mentioned this sentence in the speech? You cannot connect the dots only by looking for. Good. Excellent.
I also did.
Okay. Okay. So, how many communication styles did DTM Zafar? Yes, there were 4. Okay, good. Okay, who mentioned the word Disney in his speech? Junaid. Okay. Okay. Okay, who said this? The key to life is to stay positive.
You did.
No, Mariam? Mariam, yes. It was against the question which DTM that I asked. Okay, so that's all from myself.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza. I request our vote counter to please float the poll for the best facilitator. Okay, it's time for me to evaluate the meeting in general. We started at 6:43. Due to some glitches and some time lapse, the only area where we need to work upon is on the timing of the meeting. Otherwise, there were amazing speeches, and table topic session was well conducted by Toastmaster Mariam Aftab, and all the evaluations were spot on. So overall, we had a wonderful meeting. Just the area of improvement was about the timing, and that's all from my side. And
yes.
President. Okay, so with that, I would like to hand over the charge back to the Toastmaster of the day, DTM Fatma.
Thank you so much. Now moving on to the end of the meeting. Before, so now as Toastmaster of the day, I need to hand over the charge to the president. And I have approximately like 35 minutes to do that. What will I do in 35 minutes? No, actually I don't. We are way over time. Anyhow, so now resuming, and let me take this opportunity to first of all thank our icebreakers today and thank the new members who are delivering continuous speeches, and also everyone who came here to attend, and of course everyone who attended online. I will announce some results, or perhaps DDM sir, are the results available with you, the polling results, or
please vote for the best Big 4 right now.
All right, so it will take some time.
Yeah, a bit of that.
Toastmaster Imran, do we have critics' choice for evaluation?
No, this time we don't have.
All right. So we have the Critics' Choice Awards for the Best Prepared Speaker. Now, the Critics' Choice Award for the Best Prepared Speaker I actually compiled on the basis of the ballot for World Championship of Public Speaking. That means that no matter what your project is, whether it's about communication styles or whether it's about mentorship, it needs to be a speech that has all the elements of a good speech. One criteria is that, and the other criteria, which is equally important, is how closely it adhered to the objectives, project's objectives. For example, if you delivered a world championship quality speech, but it did not comply with the objectives of your project, that means that your speech won't score highly in the critics' choice category. So today we have some amazing and stunning results. Our third place critics' choice goes to Toastmaster Mufaddal Murtaza. Congratulations. Our second place goes to our icebreaker, Toastmaster Junaid. And our first place goes to Toastmaster Kareem Meghani. Congratulations. And see, Toastmaster Kareem, I told you that there's always another day to win. And I bet that this was a far tougher test than a contest. So congratulations on that. Now are the results ready? Let me invite DT and Safsway for the voting results.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. So, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, the final hurdle is finally here. The best table topic speaker after a very tough race, and no, that was not a tie. Thank God. It was Toastmaster Meroz Aziz. The best prepared speech, again, a very tough race, and no, not a tie. Thank God again. Toastmaster Mariam Arif. The best prepared speech evaluator. Toastmaster Lateef Mansoor Ali.
Congratulations.
The best facilitator award goes to, by a landslide, the listener, Toastmaster Mufaddal. And the best of Big Four award goes to the person who was actually doing it after a very long time. The Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Talab al-Hamid. Apologies, DTM Talab al-Hamid.
Oh, I thought you were saying apologies, it's not Toastmaster Talab al-Hamid.
I'm not like,
I was fully expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So that is your kindness because I did not earn this award. Anyhow. With that, I will invite our VP Education, Toastmaster Imran Rana, to make a speech. No, to do a few announcements about future meetings.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Talha. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, our academy session will going to be held not on Saturday, but this Sunday. And after that, we're going to have, since Ramadan is approaching, and we decided to shift the day of the meeting from Wednesday to Sunday. And through Zoom, through Google Form, it will be decided whether the meeting will going to be a hybrid meeting or an online meeting. For that, you all are requested to please cast your vote or fill the form.
Regular meeting will merge into one in Ramadan.
Come again?
Academy and the regular meeting will merge into one meeting on Sunday in Ramadan.
That is to be decided, actually. That is to be decided because our Saturday, the academy timetable is pretty much set and it's not affected by Ramadan. What is affected is our regular meeting, which is on Wednesday evening. So maybe we'll make a decision, but this Sunday we will have the academy session.
About the academy and the regular meeting, since it would be Saturday and Sunday, so that will be decided. So you all are requested to fill the form so that we will able to organize the agenda and we will able to organize the whole meeting. So over to you, President Tafa.
Thank you so much. And with that, before ending the meeting, we'll take some comments from our guest, who is too busy to give comments. Are you too busy to give comments? Our good friend and past president of Express Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Saad. Please give your comments.
Very much distinguished Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid. It's always good to be on the stage at any Toastmasters club. I was here at Teen Talwar. I had a meeting and it got over at around 6:45ish. I just had Maghrib prayers, and as I was about to ride my motorbike, as I was about to take the turn towards my home or to another meeting, I don't know how I just recalled it's Wednesday, and Beach Luxury isn't that far away. I went to the map. I saw it's only 10 minutes away. So why wouldn't I be here then? It's always lovely to be amongst Toastmasters. I had a very tough day. I was very tired, but still, it's a very refreshing being amongst such positive and enthusiastic public speakers. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Saad. It's an honor and a privilege to have you. And you're always welcome to join our meetings. And if you intimate us in advance, you can have a speech or role as well. So with that, we bring this meeting to an end with this sincere thanks and advance, is it felicitations? Yeah, felicitations of the holy month of Ramadan. Sorry, who, you said something?
No.
Somebody said something.
Said something.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's felicitations. Yeah, I've always got confused between facilitation and felicitation. Felicitations of the holy month of Ramadan. We'll hit the ground running because, of course, as Toastmaster Imran announced, we'll have our meeting on Sunday, academy meeting, and we'll also have an educational session meant for the whole district on grammar and language evaluation on Saturday, and that is also 11 to 1 p.m. So with that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and see you very soon, inshallah. Thank you so much.